So Kemba Walker was recently waived by the Dallas Mavericks, and Dallas said, hey, that he was a true professional. He had a 32-point game for Dallas. He was great for them in the spots that he played, but Dallas wants to get some of their younger guys more opportunity and a couple other sort of standouts. So he was kind of the odd man out, the late addition to the team, so they ended up releasing him. And there's a lot of questions of where will Kemba Walker land. And now I wanted to propose the idea of the Los Angeles Lakers. And before everyone's like, no way, no how, no Kemba, no nothing, there's a couple things that I want to touch on as to why it could make sense. Primarily, if a deal is on the horizon, right? Whether it's a Bojan Bogdanovic, preferably a Charlotte Hornets deal, I think can make more sense. Although if they were to get like a Terry Rozier, then maybe Kemba doesn't make as much sense. But regardless, any type of deal that the Lakers make very likely is going to include most, if not all, of their guards, right? They're trying to currently look for deals for Patrick Beverley, Kendrick Nunn. Russell Westbrook may or may not be in a deal that would be more of like a home run, grand slam type deal. But if the Lakers end up unloading all of their guards for several pieces, let's say the Spurs deal, right? Then you get forwards, you get some, you get a center maybe in Jakob Poeltl, or again, the Hornets deal, you get, say, 4 wings or 3 wings and a Terry Rozier, something like that. Well, now you have a need for another guard. And Kemba Walker could be nice in certain spots. Obviously, right now, it makes zero sense to have Kemba Walker on the team, right? It's just, you already have enough 6-foot guards. The last thing you need is another 6-foot guard, or however tall Kemba Walker is. I don't even think he's 6 feet. But, regardless, Kemba Walker to the Lakers doesn't really make a lot of sense now. But if the Lakers end up moving Patrick Beverley and Kendrick Nunn, Kemba Walker could kind of fill that Kendrick Nunn role. A scoring guard that could play on and off the ball, a guy that could go get his own shot, have a big game here and there. He could take a lot of the scoring burden. And one of the big things that the Lakers don't have right now is a guy like Kemba. The Lakers don't have a guy that can just go get a bucket. And that's one of the reasons I really like the idea of Terry Rozier. Terry Rozier is a guy that can come in and easily just go get a bucket. He can play on the ball and set up and run the offense if you need him to, but he could also play off the ball like he has in Charlotte a lot with LaMelo Ball. And Kemba Walker could do a lot of the same things. Now, obviously, defensively, he's a big liability. That's why I think it would make sense if you had more sizable wings, if you went and got like a Hornets deal where you have guys that could kind of make up for the lack of defense that Kemba Walker has. Obviously, if Anthony Davis is good and healthy, or maybe even if you go and get Hassan Whiteside, somebody that can help make up and be a deterrent for guys just running by and blowing by Kemba Walker, that would be a huge factor. But Kemba Walker would provide a lot of what the Lakers need. A lot of questions, though, about, just health and his lack of consistency as of late. But even Jason Tatum kind of made a tweet and was like, gave the Celtics vibe, like, hey, we would take Kemba Walker again, right? And what he can do, if he can still maintain that, and kind of showed what he was able to do in Dallas a little bit, which is why I think he will land somewhere. Not saying it'll be the Lakers. Not necessarily saying I even really want him on the Lakers. Again, right now it doesn't make a lot of sense, but he's a guy that can score, and he can score in bunches and get hot. And he's a guy that has experience, that has led a team, that understands the type of player he is now and is willing to accept the role now. And so he could be a guy and a piece that could come in and really provide some scoring punches. We don't even need him to go and give us 32 a night, right? Like, if he could come in and just give us, say, 15 a night, be a sort of Malik Monk, right? Like, Malik Monk was great for us, but Malik Monk was terrible defensively, and people didn't really care. People wanted us to keep Malik Monk, regardless of the lack of size and the lack of defense. Kemba could be that guy. Kemba could come in, provide some nice scoring for the Lakers, be a guy that you could just give the ball to and let him go get a bucket, allow LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook to take nights off. I don't think it would be the worst idea in the world. We don't have a guard like him that can just shoot and score and basically knock it down from 3-point range, from the mid range, and even get to the basket. We got guys like Dennis Schroeder, who he's shown moments of that, but he's not as natural as Kemba Walker is, right? Kemba Walker is a more natural scorer. He's a little more gifted in that regard. And if the Lakers understand what his role would be, and he understands what his role would be, I do think he could make a real impact on the Lakers. I really do. I think Kemba is a guy that we could run sets and run formations with that could sort of utilize and capitalize on his skill set as a scorer. You run him with, like I said, Anthony Davis, or if we have another center that can block shots and kind of patrol the paint. I wouldn't really want to run him with like Thomas Bryant because, again, he's just going to get blown by, and Thomas Bryant isn't good enough on the just being a deterrent as an Anthony Davis is. But if you ran play sets, right, with like him, LeBron, let's say we get some sizable wins. Let's say we have a Kelly Oubre and PJ Washington, right? You got some size, you got some switchability, you got some guys that can also spread the floor to kind of open it up for Kemba, and you got a guy like Russ or LeBron who can kind of set up Kemba and at times even just give him the ball and let him just go get a bucket. I think that could be huge, right? I mean, even for the New York Knicks last season, he played in 37 games. He started all 37 games, and he gave you about 12 points per game. But he had some nice scoring bunches, right? He had some nice moments where he really was able to knock down some shots. Shot 36, just under 37% from three. He's a career 36% three-point shooter. He could be somebody of value, right? He could be a Lou Williams, or again, a Malik Monk type player, just purely scoring. But the reason I keep reiterating that is because I want to get across that, like, that's what his job and the goal would be. It would be to bring him in to provide just a solid, consistent nightly scoring punch, somewhere in the 12 to 15 range. He has a night he gets 20, cool. He has a night he gets whatever, cool, right? If he goes up, blows up for 32, great. It just gives the Lakers another scoring punch. And look, I understand the Lakers don't really need, they're not having trouble scoring, but it would be nice to have a guy that can just go get a bucket, right? That can spread the floor, that can, knock it down from pretty much anywhere, and is a more natural scorer, which Kemba is. Kemba is a much more natural scorer than any of the guys that we have, not named LeBron James and Anthony Davis, right? I mean, Walker's great, but he needs to be set up for threes. Yes, you can give him the ball and he can go get a bucket, but it's usually at the rim. It's usually just using his athleticism. He's not a guy that you can give the ball to. He can go, make a couple moves, jab step, boom, pull up, splash, right? Like, he's not that guy. And Austin Reeves, yeah, he can score, he can shoot, but again, he's more of like I'm going to take the guy off the dribble, little bump, get, pull, fade away, whatever. Where Kemba he can operate within the half court and just go get a bucket. And I think that could have some real value for the Lakers. It's a lot of like what the idea of Kyrie would be, right? You have a guy, now obviously Kyrie is otherworldly, right? Kemba's nowhere near that, but it's kind of in that same idea of like, you have a guy in Kyrie who could play on the ball, off the ball, could just go create a shot as a more natural scorer. Same thing with Terry Rozier. Terry Rozier, he's a guy, more natural scorer. He can shoot pretty much anywhere. You can have him play on the ball, off the ball, whatever. All of those things. Kemba kind of fits that mold. He kind of falls in line with that. Again, it doesn't make sense with the team we have right now because all we have are undersized guards. But if we were to make a deal and make a trade that led to us unloading most, if not all of our guards, then I think it's worth kind of taking a look at Kemba Walker. Now, is Kemba Walker going to be there at that point? Probably not. I do think some team is going to pick him up, but if he is, or if you have a move lined up relatively soon, then I don't think it's a terrible idea to give Kemba a try. Let him come in. Let him, I wouldn't even mind them giving him a 10-day contract if especially right now with Lonnie Walker and Austin Reeves out, we might actually need his scoring, if I'm being honest. Now, it looks like it's going to Sterling Brown, but that's just they're heading towards that direction. That doesn't mean that they actually have signed him yet. So maybe they switch it up and go get Kemba Walker, because we could really use the scoring and just the shooting. That could be something nice. And if he works out, then great. And that could also make more sense to get rid of Kendrick Nunn and Patrick Beverley. But my point is that basically what we were hoping Kendrick Nunn could be, that slashing guard, the guy that could play on the ball, off the ball, guy shoot, basically everything that I've reiterated, right? Kemba Walker, the idea is that he would be that guy. You sign him to a non-guaranteed, you give him a couple games, a couple runs, a couple sample size, and if he can be that Malik Monk idea of what Kendrick Nunn was hopefully going to be, then I think he could have some real value on this Laker team. I think he's a guy that could make some noise. Now, not saying the Lakers should go, rush through the door to go sign Kemba Walker. Not what I'm saying at all. I'm not, I don't think it's a huge need right now. I don't think it's a huge necessity. But I wouldn't be upset about it. Like if the Lakers tomorrow signed Kendrick Nunn, signed Kemba Walker, I would hope that they would getting ready to trade Kendrick Nunn and Patrick Beverley. That like if they do that, if they go and get him, I hope that that's a sign. Like, okay, like, oh, a trade's coming, right? But if they were to sign him, I wouldn't be mad about it. I'd be like, okay, like let's see what he could do. Let's see if he could be a scoring option. See if he could be a scoring threat. Take some of the burden off of LeBron. Take some of the burden off of Anthony Davis. I think he could. I think he could have some real value. Not my favorite signing. Not something that I absolutely want them to do, but it's an interesting thought. And as always, this is a discussion. And sometimes I just want to hear all your opinions and present potential ideas. So that's what this is. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Let me know down in the comments section below. What do you think? Do you agree? Disagree? Do you think like, yeah, hey, Kemba could be that guy. He could be our Malik Monk, our Lou Williams, or, just that scoring threat off the bench that comes in, he gets 15, 20 minutes a game and maybe gets us 15 to 20 points a game. Like that would be awesome. Or do you think, no, we don't need it? Again, it doesn't make sense right now. Even though I still know I'm going to get comments of people that are like, another small guard, because they actually aren't listening to what is actually said in the video. But if we were to unload most of our guards outside of like Dennis Schroeder and Russell Westbrook, would you be willing to maybe give Kemba Walker a look and give him some burn, especially if you trade Russ too? Like, I don't think Kemba would be the worst idea. If you get Terry Rozier, then no, I don't think you need Kemba, because then you kind of just got two players that are in the same type of role, same type of idea. But this could be a free version of what you're looking for from Terry Rozier. Just a thought. So let me know your thoughts and opinions. I'd love to hear them down in the comments below.